family, Faces of Epilepsy family. Welcome back to all of those that are guests on the show. Actually, we have a guest on the show. Every time we go live, I am a little like, oh my God, we're going live. But I just want to welcome everybody back today to the feed. I am Lisa Lopez-Griggs. I'm one of the hosts here at the feed at Faces of Epilepsy every day. It's basically a podcast for epileptics and their caretakers. We've noticed that there's been a big bridge that is actually forming between caretakers and those that are epileptics, kind of bridging the gap through creative and collective conversations. We've had over 20 episodes. We're actually on our 27th episode today. I'm so excited. And want to thank our producer, Michael Hall, who's been absolutely amazing. He's actually the, really the person that has come up with this idea to do a podcast and do a show called The Feed for epileptics. And it's just been absolutely amazing. We've covered so many things with regard to mental health and seizure safety in schools, legislation, laws passing. We've covered SUDEP, a lot on SUDEP and those losing their children to epilepsy. We have covered, just the Liberia. We've had, been covering everything going on in Liberia with epilepsy. So it's just been a lot and it's been really amazing. I know that we've got some exciting things still going on. We're still giving away our beanies. So make sure that you're liking, commenting, subscribing, posting, and inviting. There's a way for us to see who's most active in the group, and whoever's the most active, we want to be able to send you a beanie from Love My Melon. We still have a few left, and it's free. There's no cost to you for shipping or anything like that. We're going to get that mailed out to you as we see that, you're really involved in the community and what we're doing here. And we've grown by so many. We're approaching 1,600 right now. We grew by another 80 this week. So please make sure that you keep inviting because it's really, really important. We had Purple Day yesterday, and I'm wearing my purple. I think our next guest is wearing her purple. And Purple Day is really, really significant. It's always on the 26th of the month, March. And it's basically just to bring awareness and advocacy to epilepsy. There's over 50 million epileptics in the world, over 3.4 million just in the USA alone. 1 out of 26 people in the USA will be diagnosed with epilepsy sometime in their life, and 1 out of 10 people will have a seizure in their lifetime. Also, epilepsy. There are more people with epilepsy than ALS, Parkinson's, autism, and cerebral palsy combined. But yet there's only a little over $200 million spent in research funding each year for epilepsy research, and there's still no cure for epilepsy. And some of that is attributed to the fact that not enough people are talking about SUDEP and not enough, unfortunately, death certificates are being written out that epileptics are passing away from SUDEP. And that's why we're not getting as much research dollars with regard to epilepsy. But hopefully we're going to start to see some change in that. Our next guest is actually a huge advocate in the epilepsy community. She's coming to us today live from Indiana. And I'm so excited to have Teresa Lentner on today. She actually does a lot of crafting. I hope she's going to share her crafting with us.
Yes.
And just your story and your journey around epilepsy. I think it's really awesome that we're going live today because I know you've done shows before.
Yeah.
And, this isn't, you're not new to this. You're not green, in other words, right?
Right.
A little bit, right? So, Teresa, thank you so much for joining us today. I know that you got in our Faces of Epilepsy group recently, and I don't even know. How did you find Faces of Epilepsy, the group? Let's start share, and then we'll
For
kind of
sure.
get together.
Okay. Because I started doing the digital creator thing. So when I started going through groups, yours popped up, and I looked it up. It's in my due diligence, as you can say, and I wanted to become a part of that. So that's why I signed up, and I may not always do the whole sharing thing very well because I have RA as well.
Oh, yes,
So,
I know what that is.
and so I have a hard time with that with some things. So that's why I do my lives, is because it's easier than typing. But I have been talking you up so to a lot of people. So
we love you so much. I know you're always saying that Mike and I are such a great team. I could not do this without Mike. I would not do this without Mike. I may go live just on my own, but I would never try to pull off a podcast or a show or having guests and editing and just all the work that goes in behind the scenes to put something like this together. But we are starting to get some traction, and it seems like we are starting to get a lot of noticeability. I was on the phone yesterday with a group of Purple Warriors, and a few of them that have passed laws in the state of Texas and New Jersey, and also have helped pass laws in other states. One of them that was actually on the call with us is on the board of the big Epilepsy Foundation in Nevada. And one of the things that is really awesome is they keep saying that organic content that is created by epileptics or caretakers like ourselves has much more potential within the space of epilepsy, meaning that people like you and I and Mike can bring way more awareness to epilepsy than even the Epilepsy Foundation itself, even with all the millions of dollars that they get donated. And we're not a nonprofit. Yes, Faces of Epilepsy will be a nonprofit eventually soon. But I think the content and just knowing where you're coming from, Terry, that's a big deal. That's a really big deal. And so thank you for just acknowledging that and wanting to be a part of this and wanting to be on the show with us today. I appreciate you saying that.
Absolutely. And the thing, because I can relate, and I have to do my shout out to a couple of because if it wasn't for them, and the first person that I had ever reached out to about just support group, everything, is at Brain Ablaze. And his team, he does podcasts, he does posts constantly all day. There's all kinds of stuff. I could go on and on and on, but there's him. Check him out. And then Guy W. Stoker, I've mentioned him, and he does Purple Chorus. And I was in like band and choir and stuff through school, and I feel music differently. Okay, it's like I feel it. I don't know how to explain it, but it sends chills up my spine. I just love music, and so does he. And he takes the world of music and the world of epilepsy, and he brings it together because everybody has a different story. And so when you put all that together, it makes a chorus. So he has his podcast and stuff too. So I wanted to give a shout out. And I have I feel the same way about us. Just everyday people getting together, because I don't advocate for any specific foundation, because I believe that they all do wonderful things, but there's not enough awareness for epilepsy. There's not enough education. So I don't feel comfortable saying, okay, donate money to this, when they don't understand what they're donating for. And that's why I do the Purple Day pop-up once a year. I started it last year. I give everything away. Spread awareness, talk about, and this was the second year, and we get more, and I want that to grow, but I want my community to understand me, not be afraid of me. Be the person that takes control of the situation if you know the signs of a seizure, not just the convulsions, but every other seizure? Or do you want to be the person that is with their eyes open and they're, don't know what to do? So that's what I think about when I do all this. So, and because I want to be a part of the awareness and education, the money will come, when I do decide to do something. I do want to start a young adults with epilepsy program in LaPorte. So that's my goal right now.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
I love hearing that. That's really awesome. I hope that you're able to connect next week, maybe with Heather Marks, because I know she's in Indiana and she saw some of the stuff that you're doing. And I think that's the other thing that's so awesome is being able to kind of like connect the dots of people together and really create community. That's really why Faces of Epilepsy was created. I realized after Judah had passed away, which obviously, Terry, my son's background in music because I post about his drumming ability all the time. Yeah. I think that he also felt music. And it's so beautiful the way you said that, because I'm like, I know I never had conversation with him about it. But even when he picked up the drumsticks when he was like 2 years old, or his hand beats at 2, I mean, he was on the worship team when he was 3 years old. Standing on a chair over top of a bongos. I'm sure that he felt it because he could never really explain it. He just played by ear. It wasn't later until I said, hey, you need drum lessons, and, you start learning how to read music as a drummer, because it's not really common. Like, a lot of drummers don't read music, I don't think. They kind of learn that later in their music careers. But that's awesome that you said that you feel the music, because epileptics tend to be very high creators, tremendously high creators. And we've seen that with a lot of famous people. I mean, famous people like Michael Hall, our producer, who is an epileptic and also highly creative. And so when I hear him say his workload or he's so busy, I hear, yes, he has life to deal with, but I also hear that he is just creating on such a high level all the time, and that the brain just doesn't shut down with that high creativity. Do you experience that just with your own journey and those around you with music?
Oh man. On a side note, do you know of musogenic epilepsy or seizures? That is, and I'm pretty sure I pronounced it wrong, but it's when a seizure is triggered by music. Right? Yeah, I can't imagine. I was talking to somebody on one of the support groups because she used to play the violin. And now she can't because that's it, the sound of music triggers it. Wow. I can't. So this goes into how much I love music, because right now the thought of not ever being able to hear another musical note is making me cry. Yeah. So that is how powerful, like when I was in choir and we would do a cappella or chamber, and like the music would just fill the whole auditorium and you could feel it vibrating through you. And that's how I feel it. And so I sang and stuff, but excuse me, my craft, my creativity, I would say has just recently started with, the ornaments were, my sister came up with the, like we were just talking about stuff to do epilepsy awareness. She came up with the idea, and so she did. I mean, she designs them. This year I picked out a human head, and she designed it. These are I make seizure flowers.
So cool.
These tell a story, and I think that a lot of people with epilepsy can relate to it because purple's our color.
Yes.
And then the silver I splash because it's the actual what's going on in our brain. It's the seizure. And then I put a blue rhinestone for the strength to endure it. So I make those. But I am going to show you. I want to show that before we get any farther, the ornaments.
Yes, they're so amazing. Oh my gosh, I love them.
All right, these were last year's. and it's the
Okay,
human
I
brain.
love those. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are beautiful. Okay.
And on the back, it's
Aww.
so this set has.
That's crazy when you think about that factually.
Yep.
What does that say? Tell us what that says. Tell the audience what that says.
The human brain uses as much electricity as a light bulb. And that's the point of the ornaments, is to put a different fact that some people may not know, like one of those little fun facts and stuff. And something that's really tangible. It's different from the lanyards. It's different from, you can hang it on your tree. You can hang it on. I mean, my son has it on the rear view mirror of his car, and we always put them on the trees. But it's educational. It's just different. So this year, and this was all just fun facts like about research and statistics of last year. Now this year, she went for a theatrical version, and it's all famous people with epilepsy. So as you saw, we came up with these. So, and we changed.
Those are so cool.
Yeah,
that's the one I saw the other day. Amazing.
And so we played around with colors a little bit. And this one says, Disney Channel star Cameron Boyce died at age 20 from a seizure in his sleep due to epilepsy. And you do that because, like you said, not a lot of people understand what CDAP is.
Yeah.
So you can draw them. I try to draw people in before I use, like, people are so used to grand mal seizures, but then they change the name. So then so to me, it feels like terminology is a barrier.
Right.
And so that's what I tried to do. And then we have this one, and it says, actress Melanie Griffith suffers from stress-induced seizures. So we have that one too. And
oh, I didn't know that. That's an interesting fact. Didn't know that.
Yeah. And Lewis Carroll, the author of Alice in Wonderland, he was, let me read it right off the thing.
Yeah, because there's a lot of famous people with epilepsy that are very high creators.
Yes,
they're musicians, they're writers, they're producers. They're very, very creative.
Yes, and that's the whole thing. If I can bring that into these somehow and get people interested, then people know how to more things to talk about. Yeah. So like, hey, okay. And the foundations, there's celebrity speakers and stuff. I mean, I have my hope is Samuel L. Jackson. I want him to, I would love him to, and I think we all have somebody that we would love, to speak. But right now, until that help, we need to be our voices and show people. I mean, who would have known that Cameron Boyce was, had passed away from?
Yeah.
I don't know how to ever pronounce that right.
SEDEP. Yeah, and he had passed away of SEDEP, and he was living alone.
Oh,
so he was found by his family. Yeah, but he was living alone, and he passed away of SEDEP. Yeah, there's more and more people too that don't want to live alone, having epilepsy. A lot of people do not want to have a seizure by themselves. Can never understand why neurologists are not okay with saying that epileptics need and require 24-hour care. Well, personally, as a single mom, I believe all epileptics, if they want it, and their parents want it, they should be able to have 24-hour care, especially the children. The
children. I agree 100%. It's weird how the tables turn, and that's my dog. He's getting mad at me.
Okay.
He has separation issues.
It's okay.
But I live with my son. Okay, I was a single mom and raised my son constantly. It's only been the past few years that I've really started learning more and more about epilepsy and everything. So I'm diving into it. But I live with him, and he takes care of me because I had a nursing home. I was lost like 20 years of memory from a
Wow.
seizure. And so he goes to work and I'm okay, but he never wants to let me live alone because my seizures have gotten worse as I've gotten older.
Mm-hmm.
So he's afraid something will happen to me. I don't want to live with my 26-year-old son. Not it's I don't. But right now, since my seizures aren't as controlled as I would like them to be, it's safer. So I
Yeah.
understand that, and it's definitely for children. I think that there should be more, especially mother to mother and
Yeah.
everything. I think that they should help make those nanny cams and stuff a little bit more accessible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that to I don't know insurance. I know insurance as far as when it's
Mm-hmm.
crappy to me, but I don't know the whole grasp of it. But I think that it should be talked about more and put in insurance policies because not having we talk about awareness all the time, and that is to save lives, seizure first aid and everything. So these
Yes. Correct.
cameras, we have EEGs at home, we have cameras, and insurance pays for those. So why would it be so hard to help, pay for something that could save somebody's life? That's where I see it. That's my opinion on it. So
Yeah. There's so much shame around epilepsy and the stigma. So if our audience is listening in and they're asking the question, why is that? Okay. It's because there is so much shame and judgment and stigma still around epilepsy because most people think epilepsy is seizure. It's
mhm,
one isolated event. We keep saying it over and over and over again. We say it on our shows all the time. Epilepsy, most oftentimes, people think of it as I just had a seizure and I'm back online again. I take my medication. They don't take into consideration all the side effects of epilepsy,
right.
meaning depression, right? Anxiety, lack
Mhm.
of sleep,
Yep.
you know, mood swings. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Hormonal issues,
Yep.
there's just so many things that go on with it. And suicide rates.
Yeah.
Suicide rates in people with epilepsy are 3 times greater
Mhm.
than those without epilepsy.
Mhm.
Depression. There are more people misdiagnosed or not diagnosed with depression that actually have epilepsy. And most people that have epilepsy struggle with depression, yet they have never been diagnosed with depression.
Right.
So, meaning that they're not they're not diagnosed with depression, but they actually have depression
Right.
because of their epilepsy. So,
Exactly.
right? And then we know
Mhm.
like bipolar is a trigger also for seizures and epilepsy. You just heard Terry talk about how music can even be a trigger to seizures.
Mhm.
There's so many things, but yet it's not just seizures.
No.
It's the fact that you guys are living with a chronic illness every single day
Mhm.
that potentially, when you look at the numbers, because Mike's pulled them up before, comparable to like diabetes, right? Like we know heart disease obviously is number one thing that people can die from right now that's medically um, documented. But a lot of people pass away of seizures, but it's not documented that they had
Right.
SUD-EP
Mhm.
because they weren't diagnosed as an epileptic.
Right.
So the numbers are not we're not even clear if those numbers are actually accurate about how many people actually pass away of epilepsy.
Well,
And
yeah.
it's real
That,
serious, real serious.
yeah. I was told once, when I was, when they said I had a doctor, I think one of my neurologists, like, I moved around a lot, so I've got all different ones. One of them told me that, one, epilepsy is so hard to,
Mhm.
because it's not tangible. I mean, we can go for an in office EEG and have do the flashing lights and stuff. We had, and 3-day ambulatory, 7 days, or we go stay in a hospital. But you don't know when that seizure is gonna happen, and that's how they see things, is when they happen. So it makes it, so since it's not tangible, it makes it harder to diagnose. And I'm not well versed on that by any means. There's so many different types of epilepsy that, and even there are the rare types and everything. And I think that that's another thing that a lot of people don't know, is that there's a lot of rare types of epilepsy.
Yes.
It's not just because, all right, I've been called possessed before. I mean, these things happen. And I was diagnosed when I was 14. So every stage of my life, you have different kind of stigma. You have different stuff like that. Tables get turned. But the number one thing that has been consistent is that people relate possession to seizures. That is a very I did a whole episode on it, but I love history as well, so I can go back and do all that. But that's something that a lot of people don't understand, is that that's part of the stigma. It's part of that's just one epilepsy. So all of the we are only drawing attention between Hollywood and everything to one type of epilepsy, of seizure, when there's so much more. And so I'm trying to think of ways to attack that, because I'm one of those people that, like, I advocate for epilepsy, and I as much as possible, but I also want people to know that I will support their cause. I'll wear their color, because I think that if we understand each other, get the conversations going, it may sound naive, it may, or whatever, but that's a way that we can spread awareness as well. We understand somebody else in their story, and this is another reason why I love this, because everybody can see different diagnoses. Everybody has a different story. Everybody has friends with a different story. This is perfect. It's you guys. It's real people. Not saying that these are anywhere else is fake, because I know that a lot of people do this, and I've also seen a lot of people who record their seizures and explain them. Striving with Soap is one of them, and she explains it, and that's I think that's the key thing, is that she goes back and she explains it, because it attaches a face and an image to the type of seizures that she's having, and she has different kinds as well. I'm not brave enough to do that. I can't. I mean, it was hard enough to start, because I've always been a social person. But then after 2019, things just got really hard for me. I had to learn how to walk. I had to learn how to talk. I had everything.
Wow.
So it was hard when you have people that have seen you one way, happy and all that, to go down that. The depression, the isolation, and everything. And I do have, I can't take antidepressants because they trigger my seizures, all that stuff. So hormones, sack. I can't. So I ride the roller coaster of emotions. I have to fight that or fight a seizure. I'd rather fight the emotions, even if I seclude myself and cut everybody off for a little while, because I can be mean, and I don't want to be mean to anybody. So I know what's coming, and I can't tell when my seizures are going to happen always, but I can tell when I'm going to, like, have word vomit or something, and I'm going to hurt somebody's feelings. So once I understood that about myself, and being self-aware of these kind of things about, everything really helps. And you have probably noticed that some people are like, they're so quiet because they don't want, they're afraid for whatever reason, but they follow along on support groups and stuff, and I'll get a message. I'll say something and then I'll get a message. Like, really,
Yes.
that's, so
Yep.
we got to just keep it going.
Keep
And
going. Yep.
all of these wonderful little things that are starting, we build them up. Just build them
Yeah.
up. And that's why I really am trying to get you guys going. And also, my sister, because I give stuff away.
Yes,
But
I noticed. You're a giver. I love it.
yeah. So what back to what I do. If I make it, like, I'll take donations from it, like when we're out there and stuff. But then
Yeah.
I just pay for it once a year, just to start it all over. My
Right.
sister, because as soon as you said something about the ornaments, I talked to her, and she's like, "Well, if anybody wants them, they're $6 a piece for shipping in hand." Because like when I did the video, we literally we hand paint them off. So
yeah, it's so amazing. I was looking at all the paint and everything. So make sure that you guys go over to Terry's page, see what she's doing over there, because she's got some good stuff going on over there, and I mean, people can purchase your ornaments too. I know you give stuff away for free, but if they want to donate, they want to give something, they can contribute for sure.
Yep, definitely. And
can those ornaments be custom made with
anything,
children's names on them, people that we want to memorialize, any kind of statements on the back? They can be custom made.
Anything.
So awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really awesome. So if any of our listeners today, any of the audience is listening in today, and you want to have one of these ornaments, please reach out to Terry, because they're so beautiful. Or these flowers, all these things can be custom made. They're all handmade. And they're so beautiful. I love that you're doing that. It's really, really beautiful. I am so sorry about this journey with you losing your memory. That seems like that was a really traumatic thing, and having to learn so much over again.
Oh, it's really confusing too, because this is going to be, all right. When I came out of it, out of the seizure, I didn't recognize my son, but I remember I thought my daughter was still alive. My daughter had passed away in 1999. So then the thing about losing your memory is that things come back in flashes. And so I had reached out to somebody else who had a memory, and asked him, what this is now 3 times that I've had to relive my daughter's death. And how much of it is the epilepsy, or how much is it my brain protecting me? Because I can tell you what I wore on the first day of kindergarten. I wore a lavender jumpsuit.
Wow.
But I can't tell you parts of high school. I can't tell you how I felt when I was diagnosed, because I don't even remember the day. I remember my daughter, bits and pieces, so that it's depending on somebody else to tell you what your memories are. You have to be very, very trusting in that person, because that's their truth of what they saw.
Right.
So they don't know. Nobody knows how you feel except for you. Nobody can tell me how I felt that day, or anything except for me. And those memories are gone.
Yeah.
So I rely on pictures.
Yes, I was just about to say that. Yeah. Document everything.
Black and white. Yeah. So, and like she was only 14 months old when she passed away. So there's not a lot of pictures. So everything I have, I cherish. And then I started writing more and more down, and starting like voice recordings and stuff, because my hands hurt something awful sometimes.
Yeah.
So that, I always encourage people to keep a seizure journal, not just because of the seizures.
Right.
Your memories. Keep a journal, because you never know if that seizure is going to happen where you lose your memory. That way you can go back and you can trust what you wrote yourself. You know that is what you felt at that moment, at that time. that is probably one of the biggest pieces of advice that I can give somebody, because your memories are your own. And you experience them in your own way. And it's really hard when you see people that you've known, you've known most of your life, and you can't remember them. Or if you had like one person, I remembered them, but we had a bad falling out. I didn't remember that. So I'm like, oh, you don't think we're best friends still or something like that. Very embarrassing. So it wants to, when you lose your memory like that, you want to stay isolated, because with most people with epilepsy, it's just so hit and miss with everything. Because I can walk out that door right now and I can have a seizure, hit my head, so many, all the things that can happen. I mean, it happened. The last seizure I had was like a month or so ago, and my glasses went into my nose, and I have 3 compression fractures in my spine that I didn't know about.
Were those from accident?
From seizures.
From seizures. Wow.
Yeah, I found that out. Yeah, it was from seizures, and it was so much of because the
from the seizure itself, meaning having a seizure and then you got injured while having the seizure. Wow.
Yeah, and those don't go away. They heal and then they refracture. So my rheumatologist started me on Forteo to help my bone mass and everything, along with my RA medicine. And because I looked into compression fractures, because the next thing I knew was like, oh great, I'm gonna fall and I'm gonna be paralyzed, something that, because it's right in between my shoulder blades.
Wow.
So there's a lot of kind of scary sometimes. Yeah. So
are you still in pain because of that,
Terry? Yeah. I've had to have and I've had both of my, in the past 18 months, I've had both of my knees replaced, both of my hips replaced, and April 15th, they're going back in my left knee to redo it, because it wasn't healing right, and it's jiggly.
I got to ask you a question, just because, we're live, and for those have stayed with us this long, 40 minutes now. I know Mike's in the background still. And we're going to bring this thing to a close, but I got to ask you this question, because that's a lot. I mean, what you just said, with the hip replacements and the knee replacements and the back injuries and the memory loss. I mean, this is really, really heavy loaded stuff here. Okay. This is no cakewalk, and this is no walk in the park. You have obviously faced some very, very serious trials and tribulations.
Yeah, but
how the heck are you still going? Because we just kind of skirted over the whole, 3 times greater chance of suicide, depression underdiagnosed with regard to epilepsy. How are you doing it? How do you continue to go and move on and advocate for others that are still living? That's what I want to know.
Well, the thing is that I have days where I curl up in a ball. I have when it's bad, it's bad. I mean, it is to where there's a few people in my life that that know when I get there that I need help, like emotionally. I need that nudge to where saying, no, Terry, you got that, but they have to physically be there, because I won't. And I'll just crawl, I'll cry in bed. But when I like making people happy. And so that helps me be happy. When one of the lives I did, I gave a man a flower, and his eyes got so big and he was so happy. So I give stuff away. It makes him happy. It gives me something to look forward to. I volunteer at the shelter in town. It gives me something to look forward to, because I can't work. My son And I have the absolute, my niece and nephew, my dog. I mean, I tell people when they're sad, look for something beautiful, a little something beautiful every day, and hold on to that.
Yeah.
Something new every day. Yeah. Hard for me to take my own advice, but it's the truth. That's really, yeah. So I just have to, I push through, because if I'm advocating for peace in people, for them to accept themselves, if I don't do it, I'm a firm believer in leading by example. If I give up, then what does that tell them?
Yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh, you're so strong. Like, you're such a warrior, like such a warrior. And I'm glad that you have a good support system around you. You know, everyone needs that. And again, I mean, that's why Faces of Epilepsy was created. It was created for safe space and community, because I saw the shame and the stigma around epilepsy when I started looking at the facts and the numbers and the research dollars comparable to what's being spent in Alzheimer's and dementia. We're talking $4 billion a year in research,
right?
Versus, 200 million, or a little over 240 million in epilepsy. And I'm like, the disparity is a human injustice. It literally is a human injustice. So I was like, this is a societal burden. That's what it is. When you look at it, you go, this is craziness. It almost doesn't make sense. So I'm so grateful that you were able to join us today. You worked your schedule around.
I don't have a schedule.
Well, you worked with us today. You worked with Mike, myself, and we're just so grateful that you were able to join us today. And we definitely want to have you back. And I definitely would love to have you as a moderator, in Faces of Epilepsy. I think you have so much to contribute, and you have such an incredible story. And I think if there are people in Faces of Epilepsy and other groups that want to connect with you through music or arts or creative arts or crafting, or any of the advocacy that you're doing in Indiana, Indiana is one of the states that does not have laws right now for safety seizure in the schools. That is a big deal. That means that when children, and we're talking about a lot of children, okay, upwards of 400,000 in our nation that have epilepsy, okay, that are going to school with epilepsy every single day, you guys, that do not get the opportunity to have rescue medication after they have a seizure. That is huge, just that piece alone. Not to mention the fact that teachers are not trained properly in what to do. I have chills all over my body if a student has a seizure, and students don't know what to do and don't know the aftermath that is created after someone has a seizure, how exhausted they are, how out of sorts they are, how they might have another breakthrough seizure. I know my son used to have a seizure and then have a breakthrough seizure right after, almost like earthquakes, So Indiana, you being there in that state, there is a lot of work that still needs to be done there with legislation. And I really hope that you're able to connect with Heather Marks.
Yeah, we've already talked, actually, and I'm going to see an epileptologist in Indy, and she's since she works for IU, she's going to show me around. We're going to get together.
So awesome. Oh my gosh, I love it. So I cannot wait for you ladies to take pictures and send them to us. And Mike, I just want to thank you again today for just and I know Terry wants to thank you as well, just for helping us to get Faces of Epilepsy out there, the feed out there. These stories out there of just pure warriors, people that are really making a difference in their communities and within the world, Also, too, Terry, you're connecting with people, across the pond. This is not just something that is happening in the U.S. So why don't you share about that real quick, and then we'll close this out.
Okay. Guy W. Stoker, he does the Purple Chorus, and he's on YouTube, and all of his podcasts are on there. Magnificent things. He's been interviewed by the Hidden Truth Project, which is or they have a certain amount of shows across the United States. And it's for people with epilepsy, artwork, music, all kind. And they have an exhibit in Chicago that I'm hoping I get to go see next year. But he was interviewed by them. He's got all kinds of letters behind his name. He's amazing.
So, awesome. We'll have to have him on the show. Maybe you could help us set that up.
I would love to. He's probably, I'm going to text him when I'm done with this. He sent me, I was going to have a bone scan, and he knew I was kind of, worried about it a bit. Mm-hmm. And he sent me roses, and I was coming in the house, and my sister said,
like a crush.
I'm just married to a great guy. He got me a bear. He's just a friend. But he's got a really good friend then. He's very good. He's like a brother to you then. He's very special. Yeah. Yes. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep. I'll definitely.
Okay, well, we'll make sure that we get that in the chat. Make sure that you post that in the chat too on this live, so that we know where to find him on YouTube, so that we can connect with him as well. Subscribe to his channel and look at all of the stuff that he has going on.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Awesome. Loved having you on today, Terry. Thank you, everybody in the Facebook Live and our group Faces of Epilepsy. Don't forget, comment, like, subscribe, invite, and don't forget to be on our Facebook Live tonight. Hang out. Michael Hall, Enrique. I'm sure. Okay.